I use these, drip to the left, We're making a fire today. We're going to go through the process. You've all seen it. I don't want you to lose any of your skills because you might need them. Parents will be looking at you when the power and the electricity and the gas, when it all gets shut off and you filled your bath with bath water while you can, and presumably you've got all the pasta at home because there's none in the shops. You're going to need to boil it on something. So you're going to need to learn how to light a fire. So when you're lighting fires, you need the proper tools. So you need Scouty, Cutty, methods to light your fire with. So whether that's you've got your matches. Always have matches kicking around. As I say, you can rub sticks together, but that's not a no. Lighters. Always have a lighter in your survival kit. We're going to be using cotton balls. That's these cotton balls and Vaseline. I don't know about you, but I always have cotton balls and Vaseline. I use it to take my makeup off in the evening. We've got our tools, our implements that we're going to use to cut the wood. It's really important to be safe with these, and it's important to make sure that you're using the right tool for the job you're trying to do. So we start off with small twigs. Dry, snap dry, nothing live. You shouldn't really be picking stuff up off the ground, and if you can find stuff leaning against other trees that have fallen, that's also good. Moving on to the bigger bits, once your fire catches, always start with the smallest and work your way up to the bigger bits. So we're going to start by creating some of these Vaseline cotton ball igniters. One finger, steady, and then we're just going to I can't honestly impregnate our cotton ball. Just everything I say just turns into something that it shouldn't be. So we're just doing this, making sure our cotton balls have got a good bit of just there. So cotton ball, right, a wee bit there. One of the things, this coronavirus thing, you need to remember to wash your hands as often as you can, because you don't want to be passing. You'll not get it. You're all young and healthy, and obviously I'll not get it either because I'm an athlete, as you well know. So I'm not in any danger, but you might have people in your life, grandparents or other people that have got existing medical problems that could cause issues. So really, it's not about you or me who is an athlete. It's about protecting people that you care about. This is a flint and steel. It has a scientific name that I'm not aware of. Something to do with magnesium. I have never ever been able to light a fire with this. I've never really had to try though, because I've always just lit matches or a lighter. The idea is create sparks. I also don't know if a scout's ever been able to light a fire with these, because it requires quite a lot of strength in your hands to create the sparks. Now a lot of people think that you just like spark until your fire goes, but actually what you're doing is you're taking shavings off this onto your whatever it is you're lighting, and then it's the actual shavings that you're setting fire to. I fully expect this to not work because I've never managed to get this to work. It's a thing that, why would you when you've got matches and a lighter? Right, so there's a fair few of these iron magnesium, whatever they're called. So let's see if we can light it. Pretty, so pretty. That's the And that's going to burn for long enough for your tinder over here to go, assuming it's not too wet. So we're going to go outside now, because Scouting is an outdoor organisation, and you know, oh, it's so nice out here. Shame no one can enjoy it. We have a fire pit here ready to go. This is called an altar fire. The reason that we have this is so that we're not burning the ground. You have to be careful if you're camping, if you're out and about, because you don't want to damage the ground. In Scotland there's no law of trespass per se. However, if you're on someone's land and you have a fire and you burn their grass, then that's prosecutable. You could get into trouble. So we have these altar fires to catch the ash, to make sure that we're not burning anything that shouldn't be burned. If you don't have an altar fire, and I don't suppose you'd be carrying that in your backpack, you can take turf up, but really you need to ask. So here we have our graded fuel. We've got small twigs, medium twigs, logs, and over here we've got our flint and steel. And we're going to build a pyramid fire. Cotton balls go in the middle of it, these go around that, and we put some of this on, and this we'll get to in a second. So we're going to start with our cotton balls. We're just going to go like that. We're going to need to allow ourselves access to these so we can get in with our flint and steel. And then we're taking some of these small twigs and we're just putting them over by. These should burn quite well. It's always a good idea to get some air access under your fire. A fire needs, what is it? It's fuel, oxygen and ignition. Trick is to have everything nearby that you need. Obviously that's not going to last, it's not going to be enough wood, so you need to make sure you've got enough wood to go onto it. It's all about being organised, otherwise that'll just go out. So we'll get this going with the flint and steel, see what happens. We need to have strong hands for this. It's just to aid the fire starting process. Probably actually alright with that. There's nothing worse than getting your fire going and then having nothing to keep it going. So I've done that, let's see what happens. So we've got a bit of flame there. Maybe so all 3 cotton balls are now going. You always tell when a fire is going, it starts crackling. That's the oxygen in the twigs expanding and popping. One of the things you need to be careful of if your wood's too dry is that it will burn too quickly. It's really important that you feed it, get stuff on it that will burn not quite as readily. And that's why we put these bigger twigs on. I mean, they will burn, but they're just a wee bit bigger, so they'll take a wee bit longer. So if we keep doing this, we'll get it going, and in the meantime I'll show you how to split some logs. You see the fire behind us there is. I've put some larger sticks on there. You need to be really careful. If you don't balance your fire properly, it could burn out. It could like burn really well but burn far too quickly and then just burn out. If a scout came over and started poking that, no, it's not established yet. If you've not got any dry wood, it's possible to split wood open and use the wood that's on the inside. There's a good chance, unless it's totally waterlogged, you can use that and get some dry wood. Chopping, very manly activity. It's a good idea. Make sure your axe is sharp. This axe has a hickory handle. The cheaper axes won't have that, and if you try and use them, they'll work, but it'll jar. It'll just not be comfortable. These axes are not for chopping trees down, they're just for splitting medium-sized logs, maybe stripping branches off trees. You just want a solid surface chopping block. Again, you don't want to be chopping onto mud or concrete with this. If you go through the log, you'll chip your blade. So what we're going to try and do is, imagine the outside soaking wet, so we want to get in at the wood on the inside. We're not going to take a massive swing at this. we're going to tap, and then we're going to use the weight of the axe head to split down the middle. The idea is, as well, is just try and split it as evenly as you can. The thing to look for is knots. So where branches have come out, it means that there's going to be deviations in the wood. If you try and split it, it's going to go off. This isn't so bad though. So what we do is, very carefully just start your cut, and then we've halved that quite well. We're going to half it again, quarter it. Same idea, not a massive, great big swipe, just a tap. And here we've got some dry wood. It's worth noting, if you look down into the gunnels of it, we've got a wee bit of burning embers there, but nothing substantial. We need to get some wood tucked in to get the fire established. This fire could still go out. So if you've got a shortage of small wood, can't find any twigs, or they're all wet, and you need tinder. Tinder's that small stuff. It's also that, it doesn't matter. Anyway, got your dry wood in the middle here. This is a sheath knife, quite cheap, illegal, don't carry one around with you. It's possible to get some tinder out of this. You need to make this smaller, get smaller shavings off it. Make sure there's no one around, and make sure that you're always cutting away from yourself. What you're going to do is put the knife against the wood, and with your thumb push. You're not hacking away, you're just pushing with your thumb to get some raised edges. This is also called a feather stick. Again, you need a wee bit of strength in your hands. Fortunately, I'm an athlete, so you know. Yep, big fat lie for a big fat scout leader. So just put these in. These can be removed and used. You can actually ignite these with flint and steel if you've got enough patience, or a match, or a can of petrol and a lighter. Better idea to make these a wee bit smaller. They're called feather sticks, and the idea is to go along. This wood is really dry, so it's not actually shaving off, but it'll burn. It'll burn well anyway. Make sure when you're done, knife goes back in it, so that no one I mean, we've got coronavirus to deal with. We don't want any toes cut off. If your fire isn't established, if it is going out, the tried and tested cheap plastic plate fanning method is what you need. This is going. It's not going to make much difference, but just a case of can really turbocharge your fire. If it looks like it's going out, or if you're wanting to cook a bit more quickly, it doesn't work with a porcelain plate. You need a cheap IKEA flour plate. This fire, by the way, is still not ready to poke. Do not poke. There's some children. They might be infected. Are you infected? Once you've got your fire going, what else can you burn? Let's think. Maybe burn some blinds now. Maybe go over here that we can maybe have a go at. That's a fire. That would be ironic. What else? Oh no. No. It's a quality piano. There are some who might say that I've put too much on that altar fire. Might have a point. Look at the flames. Look at the flames. Imagine, when you're all stuck at home with coronavirus, you could be down here with a stick poking that. Oh must be so furious. Hey, you're off school, but you're not getting to poke that. Oh, you must be so angry. That's a very smelly piano. I think someone's had a poo in it. So glad that piano's gone. It's been there for about 6 years. Pain in the arse. Probably can't say arse. Already been in at the tuck shop. Sorry, that's just the way it is. It's a perk of being a leader. When I was young, I never needed anyone. Bing, 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 bing. Oh.